Hello, and welcome to today's class. This is the module 6 of our bootcamp web design and digital marketing training and mentorship program. I hope you have been learning a whole lot. I've been having a great time. I'm sure you have been too. And I'm also hoping that you've been putting into practice the things that we have been discussing all through these sessions. All right. So today we're going to be looking at an also important aspect of digital entrepreneurship, and that has to do with creating irresistible offers and pricing your services for profits. Now, this is the cocoa. We are getting to the root of the matter, as in the crux of the matter, which has to do with money. How do you bring in the money? How do you bring in the kulele? Now, that is a very, very important thing to talk about when it comes to digital marketing, when it comes to online business. All right. So without further ado, put on your seat belts and let's take off. Okay. Now think about this. When was the last time you bought something that wasn't the cheapest, but you bought it anyway? I mean, someone brought to you a product or they wanted to render a service to you. You know, man, the price that this person is telling you, you can actually get it somewhere else for cheaper or for much less. But then you say, I mean, heck, let me go with this guy or let me go with this particular product. Why did you make that decision? What exactly prompted you to go for a more expensive product or service as against a cheaper one? Something must be happening here. Alright, so that's what this module is actually all about, okay? So, I'd like you to look at that. And then probably you can share your answer with us in the group. All right, let's proceed. Okay, so why are offers and pricing very, very important? Why do you have to think in terms of offers as a digital entrepreneur? But first and foremost, what are offers? What if you say, what is an offer? Now, an offer is actually that product or service that you are selling online, all right, with an incentive to buy. Okay? So the offer that you bring is, when we talk about offer, you're not just now presenting your product, maybe a shoe or a shirt or an ebook or an online course. Right? You are presenting it alongside with an incentive to spur or inspire your audience to buy, to increase their buying desire, right? And to get them to take action or make the buying decision that they would not ordinarily take when you're just presenting the product or service by itself. Right? I don't know if you get the gist. So, offers make your selling effortless. The person who is presenting a product will struggle more than the person who is presenting an offer, because the offer is equal to product plus incentive to buy. So it makes your selling effortless. Okay, I believe you get that. Now, when it comes to pricing your offer, the price of that your offer signals the value. All right. When you put it at a lower price, it brings down in the mind of your audience or your prospective buyer, it brings down the value, because people usually equate cheap with low value. All right. So when you price your offer cheap, you reduce confidence in it. You reduce the trust that people can have in it. But this is not in all cases anyway. All right. but just for us to know that. Now, when you are making an offer, you have to understand that people do not buy products or services. All right? They don't buy your service. They don't buy your course. They don't buy your ebook. They don't buy your products. They don't even buy the skill you're selling if you're selling a course. What do they buy? They buy a future image of themselves after they have engaged with your product or service. They buy transformation. They buy a better version of themselves. They buy a higher reality of themselves. Alright, so you must know that. So when you're packaging your offer, when you're presenting your offer, you should be presenting not just the product or the service or the inherent value in itself, but you should be helping them to paint a picture of who they're going to become after they have used your product or service. Now that is what we call transformation. Okay? Alright, so let's talk about elements of an irresistible offer. Now, when we talk about an irresistible offer, we're talking about that offer that someone cannot say no to. I mean, they have to be crazy, alright, insane, gone, kolo, to say no to that offer. Alright? Now, number one element, the offer must solve a clear problem. Alright? It must be a solution to a clear problem. For example, aspirin solves the problem of headache. Alright? A skincare product solving the problem of maybe acne or dry skin or whatever it is. Okay? For example, this course, what is it, a digital marketing bootcamp, actually solves the problem of lack of skill, all right, and lack of money. So you acquire the skill, you now have the skill to be able to offer to other people, offer a service, or even offer the knowledge to make money. Okay, so the offer must solve a specific problem. It must be the solution to a problem. Right? Now, secondly, there has to be a specific outcome that the client can expect. When I use your product or when I use your service, what outcome can I expect? That is the transformation I was talking about. So there has to be an outlook for an expected end. And that has to be clear. It shouldn't be vague. Alright? Thirdly, you should give bonus. There should be a bonus or a guarantee. Because usually, people are skeptical. I mean, there is a trust recession now. People trust less these days now, unlike before. Alright? So, you want to give people an incentive. You want to motivate them. Or you want to be able to mitigate the risk, especially when it comes to online business, right? You're not seeing this person. It's not a face-to-face business. I mean, people are more skeptical online than they are offline. So you must be able to give them a form of guarantee, all right? Today people are scared of scams. There's a lot of scams everywhere. So when you're selling online or you're doing business online with people who are not seeing you, there should be a kind of guarantee that number one, their money will not be lost. Number two, that they are going to get what they pay for. Number three, you're giving them value. I mean, whichever way you have to give them a guarantee and remove the risk from them, remove that fear from them. You have to figure it out. Alright? Number four, you should include scarcity and urgency. People take forever to make a buying decision. Alright, especially if it is a want and not a need. Anything that is not food, clothing, and shelter, people can take forever to make the buying decision. So, you have to nudge them. You have to give them a sense of urgency. You have to create scarcity. You can use things like limited slots. You can put a deadline. Otherwise, the price is going to increase. Stuff like that. Right? Then number 5, proof. You must show proof. And that comes in terms of testimonials from your past clients or people you've done business with, people who have purchased from you. Case studies of the transformation that you are selling. Alright? So, those are the elements of an irresistible offer. Now, let's look at common pricing models that you can use. We have hourly pricing. We have project-based pricing, and then we have value-based pricing. Now, the hourly pricing, this is where you charge per hour, right? It'd be like a dentist. You're charging per hour for your dentistry work. But this limits your income potential because there are only so many hours in a day, right? So you can only earn as much as the number of hours that you can put in to your service, right? So it limits your income potential. Then for the project-based pricing, this one is tied to the scope. You now look at the whole scope. When you do this project, you get this amount of money. Right? So the bigger the project, the bigger how much you can charge, and vice versa. Now, the best pricing model is value-based pricing model. This one you charge for results. You're not charging for time. You're charging for your result. The result that you bring to the client, the outcome that you bring to the client. You're charging for the transformation that the client wants to see. Right? So this one is not only capless, but it is dynamic, it is flexible. Alright, depending on how much or how badly the client wants that transformation. Alright, now how do you price for profits? Number 1, research market averages. Whatever it is that you want to sell out there online, you have to ask, what are other people selling? How are they packaging? How are they pricing their product or their service? Alright, that can help you in determining how to price your own. And then also you need to factor in your costs. What are the expenses that you're going to incur, alright, in the production or in the delivery of this service or this product? You're going to look at the time. What time will it cost you? And then also, you have to factor in the desired outcome. Alright? The desired outcome. What is the client looking at? So that will also be a factor there. Now, thirdly, create 3 packages. A basic package, a standard package, and a premium package. Don't just have one package. Have a variety of package. I have a web design product that, we have 6 packages in the offer. Alright? And all these packages, each of them is anchored to a value that is delivered to the client. So that's the next point. Anchor your pricing with the value delivered. For the basic package, there is a value that you are delivering at that level. For the standard, there should be a value being delivered at that level. For the premium, the same thing. Right? Now, there are different ways to package your offer or your business or your product or your service. Alright? You can just be, for example, a freelancer selling website design for $100. Or you can position yourself and present yourself as a digital consultant selling business growth websites plus SEO that generates leads for $1,500. Can you see that now? Somebody just selling websites or web design versus someone who is selling business growth websites that brings in leads, prospects, potential customers for a business. All right? So that is what we talk about positioning. It is the same skill, the same web design, but different packaging and different positioning. So the guy who has better packaging and better positioning, better presentation will earn higher income than the guy who is just selling web design. Okay? Now, you need to position yourself. Positioning is everything, especially online. Alright? And how do you want to position yourself? You want to position yourself as a premium provider, not just the Me Too provider, not just another freelancer on Fiverr or on Upwork chasing money. No, 1,000 times no. Now, someone said something some time ago, if you are selling something to broke people, you will be broke. Alright, so don't position yourself as a broke seller. Okay? You want to position yourself as a premium provider. How do you do that? Share your expertise publicly. So you must have your social media platforms like we talked about the last time. Have your social media handle, share posts, articles, give tips. Alright? You want to present yourself as a professional, as an authority in this area. And that is why it's good. You have to be knowledgeable. You have to know what you're doing. Alright? If you're presenting yourself as a premium provider, you have to be premium. You cannot be ordinary. Okay? Now, secondly, use professional branding consistently. Branding, you have to brand. You have to brand. Branding has to do with your logo, your color palette, your typography, your font, everything, all the visuals, right? There has to be consistency across board. Thirdly, don't compete on price, right? Price is the worst factor to compete upon because there is always someone who is willing to go lower than you. So don't compete, alright, on price. Compete on results and experience. The results that you can bring to the client. That's something better to compete on. And the value that you can add or bring to the client. That's something better. Okay? Alright. So we've come to the point where you're going to have to take action. Number one, write down your signature service package. What service are you going to be offering? I believe by now you should have decided on what service you'll be offering as a digital entrepreneur. Alright, so what is that service? Decided. Then, secondly, create 3 service tiers. We've talked about the basic offer, the standard, and the premium. Separate them into 3. Each of these 3 should have different value packed into them. Alright, so you can now tie the price to those values in the offers. Okay, now add at least 1 bonus or guarantee. Remember we talked about risk reversal? So bonus, for example, money back guarantee. Alright, if you don't like this, after 3 days or after 7 days or after 30 days, we'll give you your money back. Alright, or if you take this, you'll get an additional this. Buy 1 to get 1 or buy 2 to get 1. Things like that. Those are what we call bonuses and guarantees. Alright, certificates, licenses, alright, standardization, those things are guarantees. They are also what we call trust badges. Are you licensed to do what you're doing? Are you certified to do what you're doing? So those things also boost credibility. And lastly, decide your pricing anchor. Determine how much you're going to anchor to each of the package. Now, what are the key takeaways from here? Number 1, irresistible offers are clear, specific, and outcome driven. Number 2, price your services based on value, not just the efforts. Alright, don't say, oh, it took me 10 years to learn this. It took me 5 hours to bring this value to you. Customers do not care. What they want is, what can this thing do for me? How can I become better by using this? That's what they want, the results. Okay? Thirdly, position yourself as a premium provider. Now that is very, very important. Okay? Alright, in closing, as always, we have a workbook for this model. So ensure you jump on the workbook after watching this video. And then share your service packages and pricing tiers in the WhatsApp group. Ensure you do that. I want to see more engagement on our WhatsApp group. Alright. Then get feedback to refine your offer. Okay, so that brings us to the end of this module. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you've learned something. So go out there and begin to package your offer and anchor your pricing and change someone's life out there. I'll see you in the next module. Ciao.